sauce. Bill Buck, give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Welcome into a brand new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Stacey King alongside our guy Whispers is on a plane somewhere. He said he's going to Boston. Remember that old song, Please Come to Boston? I think he's looking for a long lost love.
You know
what?
You know, he's got a lot of stuff cooking, man. He's trying to be a lawyer, trying to be a doctor.
Yeah.
He's selling hot dogs on the street in the wintertime. I don't know what Whispers is doing.
We should share this with our audience. You know, you've been amazed by the brilliance of Timmy Whispers. He was at Harvard over the summer taking classes. Can you picture that? Timmy Whispers at Harvard?
You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. All jokes aside.
I know.
All jokes aside. Tim is a smart dude.
Yeah.
He's a smart. You wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know
but
it.
The image is.
Yeah,
is
the image.
off.
Yeah, it's like Spicoli, from Fast Times at Richmond High. But he's super smart.
Yeah,
he's super smart.
So Whispers is on a plane somewhere in Boston. He said he was going to join us from the plane, and Stacey was quick to say, "Come on now,
no,
come on.
No, it's not happening. We're not going to be having the whole show messed up because he's trying to call us from a plane."
So he never says anything. So can you imagine that we're getting all this interference and he's not saying anything? You hear the airplane engine.
Yeah.
And no Whispers.
Whispers, you there? Yeah. Well, say something, man. You asked us to get you on the show. You on the plane. No, I nixed that idea, man. I was like, no.
And we got a special treat coming up. Lavar Ball is going to
Big
join
baller.
us. We got so much to talk to him about. Of course, his two sons in the NBA are killing it. And his third son, Ilnyckj, is now a...
I want to swear that corner. Whoa. Yeah.
He's now a musical sensation. We'll ask Lavar if Gelo still wants to play hoops or if he's just going to go with the music career. And we got a whole lot of things to ask him coming up. But first, we have to talk about what's going on with the Bulls. It's really been a struggle lately. They went out west. They lost 2 out of 3. They've now lost 7 of their last 8 games. Of course, you're seeing everyone courtside. What's your thought on what's going on with the team right now?
Well, I tell you what, man. Like, what I'm seeing, and I didn't see it in the beginning of the year, is whenever the going gets tough, the tough's supposed to get going.
Right.
They kind of shut down. The little adversity hits, little bad play here and there, and the body language changes. They just kind of lose their focus. And, they just I don't want to say they quit. That's a strong word, but they got to get tougher. This is the NBA, man. You got to get tougher, man. You got to fight through adversity. When you have a bad quarter, you got to find ways to change it. And it's really easy. It's just, it's high basketball IQ, number one. You got to have basketball IQ. You got to know. I said this last night in the game last night, against Philadelphia. You have to know what works. And whatever works, you have to keep going to it until the other team stops it.
Sure.
When you're killing the team inside, there's no way in the world that Vooch shouldn't have had 35 points last night. They had no size at all. Embiid was out. Drummond was out. So those are 2 big guys that could really, form a tough game for Vooch. They had Yabusele, who's about 6'6", if that.
Yeah, right.
He's not a big guy. The ball should have been pounded. Game plan should have been, let's pound them inside and let's force double teams. And then Vooch, when they double, which Vooch is a willing passer, we'll find the open shooters. But once they went inside the Vooch early, they were killing, they were scoring, getting layups and everything. Then it's like, oh, you know what? We haven't shot enough threes right now. Let's go back to shooting threes. This is not a good 3-point shooting team consistently. Are they streaky? Yes, they are, but not consistently. They don't make threes consistently. You're not like Boston, who's shooting over 40%. You don't have the players that Golden State has leading with Steph Curry. You don't have that. You don't have what, Milwaukee has, with AJ Green. You don't have those guys that when they let that ball go, there's probably an 80% chance it's going to go in. We don't have that guy. We have a lot of streaky shooters, and we have guys that don't know what a good shot is. They're shooting shots, contested jumpers. Guys are contesting shots. Instead of getting wide open threes, make the extra pass. Let me get my teammate a better shot because he's open. They rotate out to me, and I'm going to shoot it anyway. So until you make those changes, you're going to continue to struggle.
So after losing to the 76ers, the Bulls just now have a 1-game lead over Philadelphia for that 10th and final play-in spot. And I think as you go down the stretch, you got about 35, 37 games left. The focus is going to be on keeping that pick. The front office has been pretty, they haven't said it publicly, but behind the scenes you're hearing that they really want to keep that pick. And I think right now it's time to play Modest Buzelis more. You got him as a steal at the 11th pick. He's shown flashes of being a really good player on both ends of the floor. And, Billy, before the game against the 76ers, really criticized Modest, saying that, other teams are going at him because of his inexperience and we can't keep him on the floor. He said, we can't just give him minutes. He's got to earn those minutes. And that, I understand the philosophy of that, but when the team is struggling, why not play your first round draft pick?
I strongly disagree with that. That kid, when given minutes, extended minutes, he plays extremely well. Against Golden State the other night, he played like the first 9 minutes, had a very good first quarter when he was out there, both him and Jalen Smith. And then those guys barely saw the second half. I strongly disagree with that because this kid's a lottery pick. He's your future. Okay. What's the game plan? What are we doing? Are we trying to get to the playoffs? Are we trying to keep our pick? Because if you're trying to keep the pick, then you're playing totally different. You're playing Bucella's 25 minutes a night. You're playing, Julian Phillips. You're playing these guys who is your future, okay? If you're trying to win, you're going to go with your veteran guys. You're going to play those guys 35 to 40 minutes. Then there's no minutes for your younger players. So you have to pick a side. You can't say, okay, we want to be here, but we won 3 in a row. So now we want to be over here. And then you lose 5 in a row. Now we're going back over here and we want to lose. Pick a lane, pick a side, and do it. Now, I'm in the belief that I'm keeping Zach. Me. If I'm making that decision, that's why I don't get paid the big bucks, America. I'm just a man sitting next to
because
the
the guy
man.
makes $43 million.
Yes.
You got to take $43 million back. So you're going to get some bad contracts.
So here's the deal. This is what really kind of confuses me because I'm around the game and I see how things and I read stories and stuff. It's amazing how you can move with Jimmy Butler, who has like $45 million on his contract for the next 2 years. He's got player options. 52 next year. You can move a Bradley Beal. You can move these guys with all these supposedly, unmovable contracts, but no one wants Zach. It's amazing because Zach, to me, is better than Bradley Beal right now.
I agree, yeah.
Okay, if you'd have said 5 years ago, it's Bradley Beal and Zach, I would take Bradley Beal.
Mm-hmm.
But Zach is better than Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal the last few years has been injured. You don't know which Bradley Beal is going to show up. He's having a hard time, playing with Kevin Durant and playing with Booker in Phoenix because he's used to being the man. And, and he probably should have stayed in Washington. If you're not going to, you want to tell everybody you want to win, but do you really want to win? Because if you really want to win,
you
get
those
put.
shot
Yeah,
attempts.
if you're playing with other superstars, you're going to find a way to fit in. And how can I use my skill set to help this team win championships or at least play for a championship? I may have to relinquish some shots. I may not get 25 shots. I may only get 10. But if that's going to help us win, I'm be a facilitator and get guys shots, get Booker shots, get Kevin Durant shots, and we're getting to the finals. That's a sacrifice well worth it. But if I'm thinking, I'm still the man. I want to get 25 shots. I want to be an all-star. Yeah. It's not going to happen on that team. So that's why he's struggling. Zach, I'm keeping Zach. Just me. So you put my little GM hat. In America, I ain't trying to be a GM, but I'm just saying I'm an armchair GM. If I'm a GM, I'm keeping Zach, and I'm going to build around Zach. Zach's got, I think, 2 years left on his deal.
2 years. Yeah.
He's got 2 years left on his deal. Zach is going to be more appealing to teams when he's in that final year of his contract. So you might as well just go ahead and keep him and try to build around him. You got some good young pieces that are already here. Now, let's go. We need bigs. We need bigs because we are a small team, and that doesn't work in this league anymore. You can't go out and trot out 4 guards and play a power forward guard. We did that with Alex Caruso because he was tough. He was hard-nosed, but you saw what happened to him. He was always injured because he's playing out of position. You got to go out there and get you some size. You got to get versatility. You got to get guys that can play multiple positions. Those are the most valuable players in this league is guys that can play 2 or 3. Look at a guy like Jonathan Isaac in Orlando. This is a guy that can play like 4 positions, and he's big, he rebounds, he can score. He's a 2-level, 3-level scorer. Those are the kind of guys you need.
So the comments from Billy struck us as kind of odd before the Sixers game. And then after the game, Patrick Williams, who's really struggled in the month of January, I saw some numbers. He's shooting like 38% from the field and 32% on threes. And last night, or in the game against Philadelphia, he had 1 for 9 from the field, 2 points. And then afterwards, he sat at his locker. And Casey Johnson, who's the nicest guy in the world and is the fairest reporter in the world in terms of asking questions, he asked Patrick, where's your confidence level at right now? And Patrick kind of bristled and just kind of looked at him and said, I got game. And then he didn't say anything else. And KC was kind of startled, like, wait a minute, I've been supporting you. I've been, backing you. And Patrick went on to talk for like 6 minutes and was kind of defiant, saying that, I'm doing the right things. I'm taking the right shots. It's just not working for me right now. Well, his numbers in January are frankly embarrassing. And Billy keeps starting him. And at this point, you wonder if other players on the team are looking around going, hey, wait a minute, I thought the best players were supposed to play.
Well, that's a tough situation to be in because he's still a young player. This is year 5 from Patrick, so you're starting to see. Let's look at his body of work because that's all you can look at. You can't sit up here and just make up things. If you look at his body of work, it's like I think he's regressed this year
Yeah.
more so than any year. He came off injury last year. He's been injured a few years in his career, but his numbers are pretty much the same across the board. I just have a feeling this is who he is. This is a guy that's going to be, is he a starter in this league? I think he's a starter in this league. Is he a guy that's going to get you 20 points a night? I don't think so. Not based on what I'm seeing.
And he's not a 3-and-D guy.
No.
He's not a guy you can just say, well, just spot up and catch and shoot because he doesn't shoot it well enough to be that
Well,
guy.
I think too, Mark, and I'm not going to blame it all on Patrick because I'm there and I see it. Patrick is playing out of position. Zach LaVine is playing out of position. Zach is playing small forward.
Right.
Zach's not a small forward. He's a 2-guard. These guys have to go to their natural positions for them to have success. Patrick is a small forward. That's what he was drafted as. Now you got him playing power forward. That's not his game. That's not where he plays. And then on top of it, they do nothing to run plays for him to give him confidence because there's certain guys in this league that have that dog mentality. Okay, they come in with it. They got a chip on their shoulder. Coach can yell at me, scream at me. I don't need that. I'm already self-motivated. You know what I'm saying? I don't need you to your yelling doesn't do nothing for me, okay? Because I already know what I need to do. But there's certain guys out there, and Patrick's one of them. He's introverted. You can't yell at him. You can't get on him. He needs, encouragement. You need to nurture. That's what separates, great coaches from, average coaches because they know you can't only way you can treat the players the same is rules. Like if you're late, you get fined, you're late on the plane. Right. That's the only way we treat the players the same, okay? But when it comes coaching, you're coaching individuals. Just like when you have kids, you have 3 kids, 3 children. So you're not parenting them. The rules are all the same. The discipline, the respect of the parents, all the same. But you also know that there's one of those kids that you need to nurture a little bit more.
Exactly.
Maybe it'd be the baby of the bunch, or maybe it's the middle child. You're gonna have to parent him a little different and give him confidence, and so he knows that, hey, look, I'm on you, but I love you, but I need you to do this. Patrick's that guy. That's what made Phil Jackson such a great coach because he recognized on those championship teams, and I love Horace Grant to death. Okay. Horace Grant was one of those guys that needed extra attention. He needed
a hug every now and then.
He needed a hug every now and then because he never felt appreciated. He was in that third wheel role, and people only talked about Scotty and Michael. And Horace was so important to what we were doing, but he never felt important. So, Johnny Bach did a great job of telling him how important he was. We need you to do this. We need you to do that. Phil bought into it and nurtured that on. And then it got to the point where they didn't need to do that anymore. Because now Horace's confidence is out the roof and he knows how important he is. That's the same thing you do with Patrick Williams. You go out to Patrick Williams and you say, okay, Pat, look, last game you had 9 points, you've 27 minutes, you weren't aggressive. We're watching film. I'm taking him to the side. We're watching film. I want you to watch this play right here. This shot goes up. Where are you at right now? Yeah. That shot goes up. Yeah. Where are you supposed to be? You supposed to go get offense rebound. You're supposed to go in there and fight for that board. But what are you doing? You're sitting down at the 3-point line. Ball's not coming to you, and then you just walk back to defense, okay? Yeah. Now, you come back second possession. Ball's into the post to Vooch. What are you doing? You're sitting right there standing, watching Vooch do whatever he's doing. Instead of making a dive cut or walking away, screening someone in a split cut action, so go screen to bring a guard to the ball, right, and then dive cut to the middle and get a dunk right down the middle of the lane because teams switch every single play. So when you switch like that, you're going to be open. It's just basketball. He's overthinking. It's like, he's not engaged when he's out there. But Billy's got to do some things to him. Either you got to take him out of the lineup and put him out there with the second group where he can be a little bit more aggressive, where he can be the man on that group, or you got to start really incorporating him in the offense and running plays with him and getting him more involved in that first group.
So we're past the halfway point of the season. The trade deadline is about a week and a half away. We don't know what kind of moves the Bulls are going to make, whether they're going to be big trades, minor trades, or no trades, because they haven't made a deal at the deadline in the last 3 years. What are your expectations heading up to the deadline?
I don't see them making a deal. I really don't. I just think that, teams feel the Bulls are desperate. I think teams feel the Bulls need to make these moves. So, therefore, if you know your sellers, you can be hard line on them. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get what you want. Don't give the Bulls what they want.
Wouldn't Golden State, though, take Vooch for like Looney and Gary Payton II, a bunch of, tail ender?
Well,
guys?
it all depends on how many years they all have left on their deal. Those guys can't help me. I mean,
they're not going to help the Bulls.
They're not going to help. No,
it's just salary.
That's what I'm saying. It's salary dumps.
Yeah.
I mean, then you might as well just keep Zach.
No, it's for Vooch.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well keep Vooch.
Yeah.
I mean, because Vooch still has a player-friendly contract, to be honest with you, and he's still a very valuable asset to other teams. I don't know why you can't get a first for Vooch. I seriously don't. For a team who's like maybe one big man away, like Phoenix, Golden State, that he can automatically come in. I mean, this guy's a double-double machine. He can automatically get you 20 points and 10 rebounds every single night.
Actually, Phoenix, Nurkic doesn't even play anymore.
No, he doesn't even play anymore.
He's already said they
the
instead
Lakers,
of us.
The Lakers could use Vooch. But you got a guy that's a consistent double-double machine. Okay?
He's averaging 20.
So there's no way in the world if listen, I ain't telling the Bulls front office how to do what they need to do. They do what they need to do. I'm just saying, for me, I'm not doing nothing less for a first round for Vooch, because he's going to end up going in your starting lineup, and he's going to end up helping your team get past the second or third round, maybe even the conference finals, and you're going to give me trash back. No, I'm not going to take that back. I'm not. Now, if you want to give me Moses Moody, you want to give me a first and Moses Moody, we can talk.
Right.
But if we're not talking like that, a young player who's on the verge of
your rotation,
it's in a rotation, and then I get some draft capital back, we ain't talking. Like,
so
I'm sorry.
I was watching the Lakers Warriors game last night, and Kevon Looney can barely run anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
It's kind of sad,
Mark. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, Vooch, if they was running a 40-yard dash, Vooch would beat him. And Vooch run the 40 in 2 weeks. So that's telling you something. That's telling you something, America. I'm not taking Kevon Looney. I'm sorry. Maybe 5 years ago when he was on them championship teams. I'm not taking Kevon Looney right now. Yeah. I mean, he's like one of them little, when you go into the store and like in the South, you see the little chief, the Indian that has cigars. That's Kevon Looney. He just sits. He'll be on your team. He'll just be holding cigars.
He's just chilling, collecting a big check.
Collecting a big check, man. No, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I got to have Moody if I'm going that route. I got to have a young player that's on the cusp of getting, turning it over. And because I think Moody and Kuminga, if they go somewhere else, I think those kids are going to explode. I think they're going to have really good careers. That's why Golden State is refusing to really put them in any deals now, because they don't know how long the window is with Steph Curry. And if you're going to mortgage your future, that's a big, big gamble to try to win now. And Steph Curry wants to win now. And so if you're Mike Dunleavy, boy, you're in a tough situation.
Yeah, because they're right around 500 right now. The Warriors lost to the Lakers on Saturday night. Before we bring in our special guest, Lavar Ball, just want to ask you one NBA-related topic. How about this stretch? I know we talk about Nikola Jokic a lot. He's got like 6 straight triple-doubles. I mean, the guy is just killing it. Everyone wants to give the MVP award to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he probably will win it this year, and maybe deservedly so, because Oklahoma City has the best record. But the things that Jokic is doing at 6'10", 6'11", I saw it the other day where he said he's in the best shape of his career. He feels really good with his offense right now, because normally he kind of poo-poos this talk about how good are you. He's supremely confident, and Denver's starting to make a move upwards in the West.
And if they make a move to get some more bench help, they could be a problem in the playoffs. And I still think they're going to be a problem in the playoffs, because you got nobody that can match up with Jokic. You just don't. And you got Russell Westbrook playing at a high level there now. I mean, They got a nice little squad. They're probably a Bruce Brown type of player away.
And he's available.
Yeah, he's available. Torrey Craig might be coming up, that they could use a versatile wing player. But I'm gonna tell you right now, man. Jokic is the real deal. I mean, he could be MVP every season if you really wanted to. But Shai's gonna probably win it, because they don't have another superstar. They don't have another all-star caliber player next to him. He's doing some crazy stuff in Oklahoma City. They're a good team. They're a good young team, and they're going to probably have the best record, when it's all said and done. So he's probably going to win it. But Jokic could be that MVP every single year. And the one thing I like about Jokic is this dude is available. He shows up and plays every game, bro. He shows up and plays every game, man. It's a lost art in this NBA. I mean, if the late, great Kobe Bryant was alive right now, Kobe Bryant would be killing these guys about how they're missing games and not showing up and they can't play back to back. Kobe Bryant would be killing these dudes. And I'm surprised, like, even older guys, like even Michael Jordan and guys, not commenting on that, because, all the stuff that they had to go through. Now, every single night, no nights off. And we have the same schedule that these guys have. It's not like we have different schedules. These guys have better better medicine than we had, better medical assistance. They've got, masseuses, they got, sleep deprivation doctors, they got, analytics people come in, they don't have to practice. They're like, oh, we don't practice. They don't have to practice because they had 2 games in, 3 nights or whatever. And that's where the game is really hurting right now. If you really think about this, you want to know why all these guys are getting hurt. They're not getting hurt because, they're it's just a freak accident. These are soft tissue injuries. These are hamstring pulls. It's like, I liken it to a sprinter. And, like if you were Usain Bolt and, you stop running for a month and then you decide I'm going to get in this really big race and I haven't trained. As soon as he come out the blocks, he's blowing a hamstring. Okay, because his body is not in condition to run. You have to condition the run. That's why practices are so important. We sit there and, we can say, oh, the practice is too long. A Thibodeau practice 4 hours. Okay, you don't have to go 4 hours, but you have to have conditioning. You have to be running. You have to be getting up and down the floor. Basketball is an anaerobic game. It's stop and go. There's so much stoppage and go in the game. Your body has to be in condition to go. If you look at a Tom Thibodeau team, okay, the only thing you can say about a Tom Thibodeau team is they get tired at the end of the year. Okay, but you never see guys miss games. You never see guys miss games at the end of the year in the playoff. You don't see Jalen Brunson holding a hamstring. You don't see any of those guys, when Cat's playing this year. You won't see any of these guys have any kind of soft tissue injuries. It'll be just because they're physically tired. But that's a mental thing. If you're trying to win a championship, you got to go, you got to climb over walls, you got to go through walls. That's just part of it. If you're playing for Tom Thibodeau, you know exactly what comes with that. So you're mentally tough and you're physically tough. But I guarantee you, when the playoffs start, you will not see a New York Knicks player sit on the bench because he's got a hamstring pull because their bodies are in shape.
And when they get Mitchell Robinson back the next few weeks, they're going to have another big to bring off the bench because that's the only thing they need is a little more depth because that is a really good starting 5. Hey, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors before we bring in Lavar Ball, our good buddy Jeff Vukovic. When it comes to being treated like royalty, call our guy Jeff. He'll take care of all your insurance needs, auto, home, and business. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. The phone number 847-825-4783. Stacey, you got a jingle in you on a Sunday?
Nationwide is on your side.
Well, Jeff is the big baller of insurance, and we're going to bring in the genuine big baller. Lavar Ball is our guest. He's coming up next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Welcome back to the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. It is now our pleasure to welcome in the big baller himself, Lavar Ball, kind enough to join us. Lavar, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Stacey King's alongside, and must be really good to be you right now. Your sons are thriving. You're thriving. How's life treating you?
Life is treating me the same way they've been treating me. Good. Ever since I had my 3 boys, I've been feeling good, and ain't nothing changed.
Yeah, well, we're
the success that they have and things like that. People be like, "Man, it must be nice to be you," and it was nice to be me when I had my boys.
Yeah.
We're loving watching Lonzo. His comeback has been extraordinary. He's been playing at a super high level, and I know people around the NBA are so glad to have him back.
Well, yeah, man, because and let me tell you this, man. Like I said before, when he was a baby, that boy's the people's choice. If you got a classroom and you want to see who's going to be the president, they're going to pick Lonzo. Everybody going to fall in love with that boy. They always did that. So just to come back in the way he is, people want to see the success that he has. It's not like they're knocking him. And like I said, they got this new age stuff, which is they go in there and change the whole thing now. So it's not shaving a meniscus, it's not pulling this and that. You change the whole thing. Hey, and nobody ever did it before. Of course, people gonna be rooting for you. Somebody got to be the first one for anything.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things we talked about when we had you on the show, when it first started happening, the injuries were happening and he was missing games, whatever. And you were the one that said he's gonna be back. He's gonna be back. You need to drink some milk, but he's gonna be back.
Yep.
And the one thing I've seen, and I saw some of the rehab, and I saw how bad he wanted to come back. The Bulls have taken a slow approach to him, bringing it back slowly but surely. But I'm telling you right now, like he, in my opinion, because I see him on a nightly basis, I feel like he's one of the top point guards in this league still, coming back from being away 2.5 years. I don't see any point guard as a two-way player like him. He defends.
He could be away. he could be away 10 years.
Yes.
He know how to play.
Yes,
If
he
he's
is.
got IQ,
His basketball
and
IQ is off the charts.
his mindset is so good. What I like to know, and I know this is probably different on a different tangent. Uh, they try to write this story. That girl Ramona, I don't like her one bit on the fact that she said, "Oh, he's been away from the game for all these days." And then the next thing she write about, oh, he finally commits. It was the shoes. It's like,
Oh,
you see how you guys are talking about his commitment, his regimen, his mindset. That was supposed to be the story,
yes.
not
Yeah.
that finagling stuff where you try to fool my boy into saying, "Oh, do you think it was the shoes?" You're like, man, come on now. You talking about a shoe that nobody ever got.
Yeah.
But as far as talking how you guys are, see, that's not that slick stuff. That's why I'm sitting here talking to you guys.
We
She was blowing
appreciate
my
you.
phone up to try to talk about, oh, Lavar, I'm trying to get a interview and talk about Lonzo's comeback. But you never talked about his work ethic. You never talked about his mindset. All you got out of that was some clicks to say, hey, I think Lonzo admitted it was the shoes. It might have been the shoes. Like, really? We talking
And
about that?
that's like person trying to go viral. And if you really follow
Yes.
the kid and you really
Right.
understand him as a person, like we do here in Chicago, we saw
Yeah,
how
yeah, you
hard he
guys
was.
do. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why. Hey, anytime you guys ask me to come and talk, regardless, when I got time, I'm doing it
I
because you
appreciate that.
guys are true and you guys always been good to my boys, and I listen to you commentate and stuff like that. But it's nothing but it's no negative stuff, and it's just it's a beautiful thing to hear people speak the truth.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, because I know how important he was to this team when he went out.
Right.
We were a top 4
Yeah.
team with him on the lineup, and I know personally because I do his games how
Right.
important he was. Lonzo, to me, and I've always said this, is like having 3 players out there at once. So we playing with 8 instead of 5 because
Right.
he can rebound, he can shooting
Right.
40% from the 3. His
Yeah.
help defense is impeccable. Like he
Yes.
anticipates things like a free safety. Like he knows where to be when someone's beat, he's already there. He's already
Yes.
anticipated that pass 2 plays ahead of time, which you don't see in the NBA now. Guys are always late in rotations. They don't help. He was he led the team in blocks as a point
Right.
guard when he went out, with that
Right.
injury. So there were so many
Right.
things, that intangible things that he brought to the table. And that's why having him back, you can see he leads the team in plus and minus by almost 60 on everybody on the roster. And he doesn't even play as much as everybody, but his impact that he does on the game, if you're all these analytic guys, they always want to tell you about 3-point shooting, all this. That's what you need to be talking about analytics, how important a player is on the floor and what he brings to the table to help you win games.
Right. Right. That's like I said before, man. That boy know how to win games, and some of the plays I see him when it'll be a shot or something like that, in his head to go like we right there. Why are
Yeah.
we trying to take 2 people to the basket and all we got to do is swing the ball one more time to get a good shot? You don't have to do fadeaways and just throw the ball up. If you find a mismatch, like I said, sometimes I see it like, all we gotta do is win this game. Is sometimes at the end when you're going back and forth, I see when y'all about to lose it and y'all get blitzed by the
Yes.
3, or you stop going to Vujicic inside. Be patient. If he killing that dude, keep throwing it to his big
Right.
ass in there.
I say it on a nightly basis, Lavar. Every night.
Taking 9, 10 shots and doing this, and then at the end of the game, everybody want to be a hero. And I could just see Lonzo like, man, why don't we just go this route just to win the
Yeah.
game?
Yes.
And all it takes is it's a game of runs. So you mess up 2 or 3 plays, they go up 5, hit 2 threes. Now you're up 11. It's kind of hard to come back from that with 5 and 6 minutes left.
Well, I know Stacey and I would love to see Lonzo come back next season. The business of basketball, he's in the last year of his contract.
Right.
Would you like to see Lonzo stay in Chicago, or do you think he might be better served to go to a team that's closer to a championship?
No, I don't even worry about no team close to no championship. Because the only team close to the championship with me is all my boys on the same team.
There you go.
Yeah.
All of them on the same team, you can't beat them because I taught them to play together. And like I tell people, and this is just how I am. You ain't gonna never win no championship with just Melo. He gonna fill the seats up. But by himself, nope. To win a championship, you need somebody who's really, really good, who make everybody better, who want to make everybody better. That's Lonzo. I'm going to break it down to y'all. And then you need that third person. The third person got to be really good but humble. That's Gelo. That boy led us scoring 4 years in a row. Don't nobody even know about it. That boy can put that ball in the hole. You got to have somebody who can drop you 30 every night. So when you have those three for the recipe, you're going to win a championship. Like I said, my three boys work hard as hell together, and they're going to figure out their combination, and you can't beat them. They play too fast. But I never taught them, like I said, to play by themselves. So Gelo will unlock Lonzo. At some point, you guys are going to see what I put together. When you have three boys, that first one, and I made it from day one. I cannot have Lonzo chunking up 30 shots. He got to make everybody better. So he got to be the leader. My second kid got to put that ball in the hole. That's Gelo. My third kid got to be a hybrid of them two. That's how you get a championship. And I've been breeding that since they've been babies. That's why I'm saying give my boys the opportunity to all three play on the same team and watch what happens. Chemistry is everything.
It is. It is. Big in this league.
You can have the best players in the world. They don't have no chemistry. That's why we just can't send anybody to the USA games now. You got to have some chemistry to go over there and try to win. So what I tell them is, when all my boys on the same team, the chemistry, it's just like this. Lonzo and Gelo will know the double team the person who's going to have the ball first. The other one, the third one, it was either going to be Melo or Gelo, going to know how to rotate to that second guy who's going to get the ball. Lonzo know how to come off that third guy who have an opportunity to get the ball. So the next 3 or 4 passes, all my boys know when they play together, so they know how to rotate. Nobody knows how to rotate. That's why they off. My boys been pressing and gambling ever since they've been babies when they played the game. So they know where the next 3 to 4 passes is going and how to rotate and how many times, but they can't do it by themselves.
Yeah.
They know when to double team. That's why they're instinctive. If you ever watch Melo and Gelo and Zoe play, they got quick hands. But they've been groomed like that since they've been babies. And people used to tell me, hey, man, the guys in the pros, they too good. You can't press them.
Yeah, you
That's
can.
what you think. They're going to get tired. And they don't even practice on breaking no press. And if you really look at a game, when they start pressing, they start throwing that ball away.
I said that the
That's
other
true,
night.
yeah.
I said that the other night. That if I was
Because
a
when
coach,
do they work on a press break
Exactly.
or how to get rid of the ball? And they don't know how to doing that.
if I was coaching, I'd be pressing people. I'd be
Oh,
trapping.
I'll do that. Hey, just because.
Yes.
I said, man, I tell you what, you better know how to make the right decision. I ain't talking about 3 or 4 times. I'm talking about 20 and 30 times.
Exactly, especially when you're tired.
When you're tired too? Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, that's been an issue. This game is because they're trying to speed the game up. They're trying to play with pace.
Right.
But on the flip side of that, you're seeing more turnovers, guys not understanding what a good shot is. With the analytics, I'm not, listen, I know there's a place in the game for analytics, but I'm not a big fan of it because you've taken away the beautiful parts of the game, the passing, the cutting, setting screens, getting guys open. It's now like open run now. You come down, everybody's like, oh, it's my turn to shoot. It's my turn to shoot. My turn.
Right.
And shots are being guarded and contested, which are considered bad
when
shots.
You don't have to do that. Exactly.
But they think it's good shots. It's like, analytics people say, oh, well, you know what? 3's better than 2. Well, yeah, 2's better than 0, in my opinion. Okay. So the higher percentage shots, get some layups when the layups present itself.
Right.
If you got a 3-on-2 or 3-on-1 break, there's no way in the world you should be flaring out to the 3-point line. You should be converting dunks and layups. And then go back on defense and try to turn them over again. But the game, the way you're watching now, I watch it every night. I'm like, man, this is just horrible. Like, this is bad shots, bad reads. We gave up 25 points on turnovers last night against a Philadelphia team that don't even pressure defense. 25 turnovers. 25 points off of like 19 turnovers.
No shot blocker.
And no shot blocker, no Embiid, no Drummond, where we could have pounded the ball inside to Vucevic.
Right.
And then play out for him because he's a willing passer. He'll read double teams, which makes shots easier for perimeter players because you get wide open shots off double teams. Make an extra pass, hit the open man, make the defense, move around and shift. you get the shots that you want. But sometimes these kids, they're brainwashed into running a play.
Right.
Sometimes you got to break the play. If I got a mismatch, like Zoe does it more than anybody on our team. He'll see a guy switch and say Vooch has a guard on him. He will
Right.
stop the play and then come back and dribble the ball over and
Yeah.
throw the ball inside to Vooch to go the mismatch. Where the rest of our guys, well, we got to run this play. We got to run a single double to this side over here. So they disregard that, which could have resulted into an easy bucket. Instead, you got a contested 3-point shot. You got nothing out of that possession.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple because, I mean, he got that big body. If you're going to feed him, he going to work.
Yep.
But if you don't give him the ball, of course he's going to pop out to the 3-point line and take a shot.
Exactly.
Instead of like, you know what, I'm going to murder these suckers inside. Because if you look at it, who leading the league in scoring? Who is it, Giannis?
Yeah.
That boy under the basket.
Yep.
You're gonna get 30, you under the basket.
Exactly.
But you gotta be dedicated to that where now he ain't trying to be, oh, let me see if I can shoot this jumper. Let me see if I can shoot these threes. He just running the court and getting inside and don't get 30. It's the same thing. I see some games where Vooch he start off blazing. Then all of a sudden, man, these suckers turn into, hey, I'm gonna shoot these threes.
Yeah.
Man, let him be this 30 and let him have 15 and be engaged in the game.
Exactly.
And then at the end of the game, if this thing slow down, it's going right to him no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, the Ball family name is still going strong. Your son LaMelo was the number one in fan voting. He got the most popular player among the guards in the Eastern Conference. He got the most votes of any backcourt player. Unfortunately, they changed the voting system now where it's 25% players, 25% media, and he ended up just getting edged out for a starting spot. I know he's going to be added to the team as a reserve, but what does it mean to you to see the way he's playing in Charlotte right now?
The way he's playing it don't mean the same thing to me all the time. He's a good player. He's a great player. Shoot. Just because, the All-Star, that's for people on the outside, for it's a little accolade or whatever. And it's okay. It's okay. But it don't change my boy. Because I tell you right now, it's a beautiful thing to watch him play. And
Yeah,
them
it is.
fans ain't going All-Star, you missing him as a starter or whatever. But you can't soak on it and be like, I should have been a starter. You're going to do what you want to do anyway. But I tell you what, you can't stop no light from coming in if it's shining. And my boy be shining. So the people's choice, the people going to just love him. So whenever they get a chance to see him, it doesn't justify if the media be like, you know what? It's kind of hard for the media to get a hold of Melo because he's something different. And folks like to create the narrative like, oh, he's not a winning player. Look at his team. That boy trying to win every time he go out there.
Yeah.
Now, if you leave him out there long enough, he's going to win them games for you.
Yeah.
The same thing as Lonzo. Lonzo is not a spot player. And here's the thing, too. He once he get a hold of a game, he got a hold of a game. He's not a role player. He never been. But Lonzo always going to say the right thing. Oh, it's minute restriction. That's fine. You guys are going to put me in there, and all I want to do is help the team. That boy ain't going to never say the wrong thing.
Right.
But I know what he about. He been starting all his life.
Yeah.
Been winning games all his life. But he got to have control of that. But when you have these different narratives where you put him in for a minute, he never going to be a spot player. He always going to be raggedy. Unless he played the whole game and he hot and he know how to shoot 50%. But you can't shoot. Go sit down for a minute. Try to come back in and shoot. Now you rushing shots. It ain't the same. As opposed to like, I know what I'm doing to win this game. And that's how it was when he was healthy. But the role that he's in now, I've been telling him this for years. Lonzo is not a role player.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're not going to get the best out of him being a role player.
Yeah.
And what he going to make it seem like is I could be not playing at all. So 1 or 2 minutes here and there, man, I'm grateful.
Yeah, because they're coming back from missing.
So he always going to look for the best thing where you're never going to be like, oh, man, Lonzo, why'd you say that? Sometimes
he's a professional.
Crazy,
he's a professional
about that
he
thing.
handles
Like,
himself
he
professionally.
make people better.
Yes.
But there's no way he could play like this and be effective.
Yeah.
Because you've been playing a whole game his whole life. I'm talking about I'm talking about not no 20 and 30 minutes. I'm talking about 40 minutes. He know how to play without getting tired because he's gonna throw them long passes. He's gonna be smart, know when to push it, know when to run it, use a lot of energy on defense to get the ball.
Yeah.
And then it's very simple moving it around on offense. It's not hard.
No. Because
And the thing about it, he'll tell you what you need to know to win.
Yeah. He's a coach on the floor. I mean, he's like
Yeah,
Chris
exactly.
Paul.
Exactly.
I mean, these guys are special when it comes to being able to, relay their message, to get their teams to play a certain way, be where you're supposed to be. You can see that. I've always said that about him. Even when he was in LA, when he was a rookie, you could just tell he was different as far as how his mindset was. You know what I'm saying? He played like a veteran. He played like a 90s guy. Where he understands the game, the physicality doesn't bother him. He's able to go in and finish in traffic. The one thing I've really noticed about him is, and I say this every night, stop with the he's not healthy. Stop with his knees. He's healthy. He's back to being where he was. Because there was a play we played Charlotte. It was the first time we played. LaMelo didn't play. He was out. And there was a play where it was a loose ball, and Zoe is in the paint, and he had went in to help, and the ball went long. And there was two guys, I think it was Brandon Miller and someone else had to beat on the ball. And he outran both of those guys to the ball on a dead stop, a change of direction, went and got the ball and then threw that lob to Zach LaVine for the dunk. And I said right then, stop with he's not healthy. He's healthy because he would not have been able to do that move and change direction that quickly if his knee was bothering him, if his knee was not 100%. I said he's healthy. So he's back. He just got to get a feel for the game because he's been away for so long. It's just getting a feel for the game, getting his shot back because he's a 40% three-point shooter. And then he hurt his wrist early, so that was another thing that kind of set him back a little bit. But I'm like, okay, like when is the restrictions going to come off? Because at late in games, I know they put him out there late in games when we were trying to win that game. Like we need someone out there to control the tempo. He's out there. But a lot of the last few games though, we've been down so much, like it's like, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Well,
It's like I said, it's a game of runs, and it's just having control of the whole game and knowing what spots. You can't do that when you're a spot player or a role player. So there's no way he's going to be effective. I already see it. I'm like, man, he's going to come out. The rhythm is off. You got a hold of the game. You don't have a hold of the game. You know what you're going to do. Okay. I'm going to tell you what, one thing he always been good at, man, is he know who to get that ball to when they hot and when they cold. If you hot, he going to, I mean, it's certain how he's always been like playing with his two brothers. He know when to come off of Gelo and go to Melo. Melo hit 4 or 5. He know how to come off of Melo and then get it back to Gelo. So now I got two boys scoring 30-something points. That's the same thing. He gave you guys a sneak peek at that when you had DeMar and Zach.
Yes.
He know how to make them guys go and come on and off of those guys because you can't stay with one dude thinking he every single day or every single time. You got to know when to come off of him for a little bit, let this other dude eat. Come off that guy, then let him eat for a minute. Get it back to – but he had a rhythm where he could get all three of those guys involved. That's when you're going to be ranked number one because you don't know who you're going to stop. You can't stop Voops. Lonzo going to go to the hole and then kick it to him for a wide open three and then give it to him a couple more times in the post and come off that. Zach LaVine throw a few lobs, get a little more DeMar, a few little mid-range. And so he had everybody in their spots and knowing when they're going to get the ball and nobody like tripping like, oh, I need to have 30 shots. I need to have 40 shots. No, just get it when it's your time. But he always been good at that, man. Even when he's at UCLA, he know when to go to Welsh. He know when to go to TJ. He know when to let the little the guard shoot. He didn't know to get Holiday. I mean, he always been like that, and that's an art that you can't even teach. Yep. It's like, man, how do you keep the rhythm of all these guys intact with nobody complaining?
Yep, it's true.
So it is what it is. Like I say, he liked playing with. I could see the rhythm of playing with Josh because he's gonna pass that ball. He's not gonna take. He's gonna take wide open shots. So now you got him and Zoe out there. Both of them guys is big, and both of them pass the ball.
Yes. Yes, that's a good
You know,
combination.
so people be like, oh, they work good together. Yeah, because they got the same mentality. When he came from overseas where they're not trying to score 30 and 40. He used that big body, he rebound. He throw that pass. If you open, he gonna give it to you. He'll throw behind the back pass, but if you wide open, he giving you that ball. But when you got somebody who's gonna give you the ball, you're gonna run harder, you're gonna play harder.
Yep.
And you're gonna be ready for them knockdown shots where you don't have to dribble through three people to get your shot off. So when you got two guys out there on the floor like that, that's a good thing.
It
And
is.
both with that size, you know.
Hey, before we let you go, we got to ask you about Gelo's music career. He's taken the country by
Yes,
storm. We're hearing it in locker rooms. We're hearing it everywhere across the country.
man. It's a catchy tune, like I
Yeah.
said, man. Um, Here it is, man. As a family, I hate to be good at everything, but we are.
Hey, you called it. You called it. They need to
Dude,
give you your
we can do
flowers.
all kind of stuff, man. It's just like how we roll like this. And like I said, uh, Gelo, I groomed him to be a basketball player, so it's still in his mind to play with his brothers. So that's the key thing, and that's all I'm waiting on because I want the world to see how these guys play together and how beautiful it is to watch.
Yeah.
It's not people looking for the face of the NBA ain't the face. It's the faces, and it's my three boys. They changed
Yeah.
this game because it'll be so fast. You got to score 160 just to compete with them. That ball gonna be flying, and you guys got with that chemistry. But here it is. I'm glad Gelo get to. People be like, "Oh, silver spoon in his mouth and this and that." Sound like a big deal when you ain't making no money, and then they tell
Exactly.
you about 8 million or 13 million. Yeah, that's a different contract compared to the G League.
Exactly.
And you still
That's
want
for
to play
sure.
basketball in the G League and do this with that contract to let you know his love for the game of basketball. But in the meantime, I'll make some millions doing some rapping. Something I love to do. I love music anyway. Lonzo love music. All my boys love music. But it's a beautiful thing to see him smile. But I know for a fact, all three of them hit that court together. That'll be the most beautiful thing in the world. And I know how they'll feel about it. Like, man, now it's time to shine. To let the world see how we play this game for real.
I got one more question. Okay, so
Yes,
so the kids growing up,
yes.
it always seemed like LaMelo was always the one getting in trouble by you. Like he's the youngest. It just seemed like he was always the one pushing the envelope to the edge. And
No,
because you
you
could
know what? He didn't push no envelope. These guys been good boys. They do some things every now and then wrong, but uh, for the most part, they're not the ones being wild and doing
yeah,
stupid stuff. You can see how they are now. And it's like this. They always been good boys, but every now and then you'll do something. But they wasn't like, oh man, my dad say go right, I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna
yeah.
try this. I'm gonna try
Oh,
that.
they
No, no,
listen. You because
no.
I know one time you said something about he didn't have assists. He had more turnovers than assists,
Uh,
and you were letting him know like, hey, this is too
yeah,
many. Like I thought that was like as a father talking to his son, I thought that was awesome because they need to
yeah.
hear that. They need to hear that.
Well,
You know,
like I tell them, all that comes with the good, it comes with the bad too. So you gotta be ready for that. Don't just be well when everything is good. You hey, yes, I did this.
see
And
that's
then when
one
stuff
thing
is
people can't
bad,
say
you
about you
don't want to
though.
hear it.
They can't say that about you that you have rose-colored glasses on because when you watch that show, you call a spade a spade.
Right,
You let them know when they do great things, but you also let them know when they not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and
right.
it's
And
that which is
here's the
awesome.
case of the situation too. I'll give you guys a little story right quick. Um, Growing up, I told my boys, if somebody put their hands on you, slap the shit out of them. And then we'll ask questions after that.
Yep,
We'll figure that out. So I've been telling them that since they've been babies. And then we go across the water, and that boy tapped my boy in the head, and Mello slapped the
yep,
hell
I
out of him.
remember that.
So I tell Mello, I say, man, you can't go over to another country and then act like that, man. Certain things you can't do. But son, that was a bad thing for slapping him, but that's a good thing for slapping the hell out of him because I've been teaching you that all your life, and I can't tell you when to turn it on and off.
Yeah,
So hey, I'm proud of you for knocking the hell out of that boy. But I have to discipline you too, so it's right and wrong.
yeah,
But it's sorry, but I've been teaching you that all your life, son, but I can't tell you, oh, don't do it over here.
Yeah.
But now you can go back and do it, So I go back to that where people be asking me about, were you mad at him? I was mad at him for doing it over there because we got a spotlight on us.
Yeah.
But I was glad because I've told him that from day one. So it's not his fault.
Yeah.
So that's why I look at things like that, man. And like I said, they've been a joy to raise, man, and just watching them all grow and be successful. That's all we want as parents. I think as parents, as long as the kids are well taken care of after we leave this earth and they got a job or something to do, we can kind of go, It's a beautiful thing. So I love the success, and people on the outside see the same thing, man. But I love watching them play and the joy that they have playing, doing something that they love.
Well, you couldn't have put it better.
They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
We congratulate you, Lavar, on all the success, continued good health, and success for your entire family. And thank you so much for joining us here on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
Thank you guys for having me, man. I had a great time, man. This time went by fast.
You did.
It a fun day. I love y'all style.
Appreciate it. Happy New Year.
Give me the hot sauce.
There you
yes,
go.
sir. Give me the hot sauce. And you know about that.
Hey, you got to have that.
You got to have it.
We'll send some
man,
sauce your
We'll
way.
send some sauce your way.
Y'all take care.
Lavar Ball, our special guest on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Coming up next, the Bears have hired a new head coach. We'll talk about what Ben Johnson might bring to the team when Gimme the Hot Sauce rolls on. Great visiting with Lavar Ball, and of course, Bears fans are celebrating right now because they got their guy, Ben Johnson. I know that was the guy that you advocated I don't remember, I asked you, who do you think it had to be Ben Johnson? And they went out and got him. Congratulations to the Bears.
I don't know how many people they interviewed, but they brought in some
17.
names. 17?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like that time I was auditioning all the broadcasters when Neil was retired.
That's right. It's about that number, yeah.
But you know what? They did the right thing. They went out and got a guy that, that they wanted. They had targeted him early. They didn't know if they were going to get him. You didn't know if he was going to stay in Detroit. But the guys, I hear a lot of things. People are like, oh, what happened in the playoffs? And you know what? Playoffs are different, man. I mean, you know what? You went up against a very good, young, hot team. You know what I'm saying? So you can't put all the blame on the offense. You could look at Aaron Glenn and say defense gave up too many points. The coach, didn't coach right. You should have did some different things. So you can put the blame on anybody, but at the end of the day, they didn't get the job done. And I'm not pointing fingers at him. I think his offense is good. Listening to him talk, he's excited about being here. Everybody's excited to have him. So let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can turn this offense around. They still got some holes, Mark. You got to go out and get some offensive line. But that's the biggest thing right now is they need line protection. They got to go out and get some people. And if they can do that, they already got, the weapons. They already got, decent defense. They got a chance to make some noise next year.
And I really enjoyed watching his press conference. I mean, a lot of people thought he was like this nerdy guy who just is, in his play sheet and can't command a room. Boy, I tell you what, there were 4 players sitting in the front row. He looked right at Caleb and he goes, I'm looking forward to coaching you, but we're not going to win just because of you. And, in other subsequent interviews, he talked about the fact that we're going to start from scratch with Caleb in terms of his footwork, reading defenses, and we're going to hold him accountable when he's not doing the right things. Because he kind of painted a picture like the last Bears staff let a lot of things slide with Caleb's mechanics and just basically his understanding of how to play quarterback in the NFL.
Well, I mean, if you close your eyes, you sound like Dan Campbell. I mean, if you close your eyes for a second and
without the rah-rah.
Without the, but you could tell that the energy, the passion, that he learned a lot under Dan Campbell. And I think the players are going to respond to that. Plus, he's young. He's a young guy, and he's got a proven track record here. So he's going to demand respect from the get-go because these guys have seen him from across the way in Detroit. They know what he can do offensively. They know what he can do. He's going to hire the right people. I just saw they just brought in
Antoine Randall
L. And as a wide receiver coach, he's done a great job with the receivers there. So he's going to do that here with our guys. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Antoine Randall L. Played at Thornton High School in the Chicago area. He was a quarterback there, went to Indiana, was a star. Then he won a Super Bowl playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've seen video of him calling out some of those Detroit receivers on the sideline, especially Jamison Williams when they're not doing the right thing. And that's what this team needs. They need an in-your-face, take-charge kind of guy. Don't let things slide.
No, and they've been letting it, it's been, the inmates been running the prison, basically. in Hallis Hall, and that's got to stop now because there's too much talent in that building to not be better than what they are. The year before they won 7 games, so you are going into Caleb Williams' first year, you automatically thought that they were going to win at least 10. At least +3 than they had the year before because they lost a couple of games where they should have won. At the end of the day, Eberflus wasn't the guy. He made some critical mistakes. They probably held on him too long. But hey, you know what? They got their man. So there's no excuses now except to put the pieces around him to be successful. He's going to hire his guys. He's going to hire the quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator that he's going to bring over. There was his offensive line coach that knows his system. So he's going to have some familiarity with the guys that'll be calling his plays, but he'll still be the guy calling the plays. He'll be like Andy Reid. He'll delegate things, but at the end of the day, he'll still be the guy with that sheet, and he'll be calling, zip 24 right on 2. He'll be calling that. It'll still be him.
And there are reports that Dennis Allen, who was a head coach in the NFL at 2 different stops, who's a well-respected defensive mind, is going to come in as defensive coordinator, and that's going to be a good move. And then J.T. Barrett, who was a quarterback at Ohio State, will be the quarterback's coach. They're bringing in a really good staff, and I'm really excited to see what they can do in terms of solidifying the offensive line and bringing in another edge pass rusher. So the arrow definitely pointing up for the Bears. And speaking about the arrow pointing up, I got to shout out my daughter's alma mater, Ohio State, the Buckeyes. They rolled over Notre Dame in the national title game.
Yeah, that was a mismatch.
Yeah,
that was a mismatch. I think that Texas-Ohio State game would have been a nice finals.
Yeah.
They're going to probably have to retool how the seedings go. These guys getting automatic buys who really don't deserve it. And then Ohio State has to play 3 games to get to the finals. Texas had to play 3 games. Those teams have been in the top 5 all year long. Those teams should be rewarded, buys. Oregon should be rewarded by not Boise State or anything. No, come on, man. Yeah. Penn State. Come on, man. That's terrible.
When you look at Ohio State's run, they beat Tennessee, Oregon, Texas, and Notre Dame. That's pretty impressive.
And they earned it. They earned it. They earned the championship. They were clearly better. Texas was a tough game for them, but they clearly were the better team. And that's why you would like to see, just like in NCAA, you kind of wish that they just reseed things, based off of strength of schedule. And then you have Ohio State on one bracket, Texas on the other side, and then you give each one of those teams the second toughest team in their bracket.
Right.
They both get that one.
Yeah, so, I think they're going to take a hard look at that.
Yeah, they got to, man, because teams were getting an easy way to the, Arizona State.
It was
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Arizona State, come on, man. They almost beat Texas, though.
But it was fun, though. I'd like
it was fun.
They just got to work on some of the
I still think like we're going to be seeing 16 teams before it's all said.
Then everybody plays in the first round.
Everybody plays in the first round. Yeah. I think you're going to see that.
Because the 4 teams that got buys all lost.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. But that tells you the strength of schedule, the conference that they play in. Clearly the Big Ten and the SEC were the 2 top conferences. I was arguing to say Big Ten was the best conference this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. With all the talent they had. SEC was normally number 1, but they failed number 2.
Alabama was down. Georgia was down.
Georgia was down. So, Texas came in. This is their first year in the SEC and showed well. My Sooners, Lord have mercy, my Sooners. Get back to the Big 12, Sooners. If you listen to me, any OU fans, let's go back to the Big 12, man. No, we don't belong in the SEC. We may not ever see a national championship game again. Oh, Lord.
Hey, before we get out of here, it's our regular feature. What are we watching? Stacey, you got something for the folks?
Yes. Let's go. Put me up on the board, please. You know what? I saw this movie before, but I've always liked it. It's When the Game Stands Still. It's that De La Salle football team. They had won like 100 and something games in a row. They were like one of the number 1 teams in the country, national championship team. And then this particular team came along and they lost the streak. Yeah. And these kids had so much pressure because they were always on the sophomore team or the JV team. So when all those studs like, Maurice Jones-Drew and all these guys graduated, these guys became seniors and it was their time to lead. And they weren't prepared. And they ended up losing some games that they should have won. And people were talking about they were washed up. The program's done. And then they ended up winning at the end. It's a great movie. The guy Jim Calaveras, I think.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman. He plays the head coach. It's a great story. Kind of like a Rocky thing, a feel good movie. So I suggest people check it out.
I was going to go with this documentary that's on Peacock now about Saturday Night Live because it's the 50-year anniversary of Saturday Night Live. So they've got all these episodes where they go into certain aspects of the show. But I'm saving it for next week because they've got one where it's only about the more cowbell. The whole episode's more, with our guy,
Christopher Walken.
So when Whispers is
Whisper
back next
comes
week,
back.
we'll talk about that. Paramount Plus is a great streamer.
It
If you don't have it yet, you might want to invest the $10-12, whatever it costs. They've got so many great series going on right now. Another one that's really cutting edge. It's called The Agency. It's about a CIA operative who falls in love with a woman when he's stationed in Africa. And turns out that she's also working for this group that's trying to overthrow their country. So he gets caught in between, and he's trying to work his way out. You see Jeffrey Wright, who's a great actor
another great
as well.
actor. Michael Finn's
it's a really well shot series. They got some great actors, great drama in it, and it's always fun when a guy gets kind of caught in between different things. See how he's going to work his way out of it. So it's a good show.
That out.
The Agency on Paramount Plus. So we want to thank our special guest, Lavar Ball. We hope you
Big
enjoyed
baller.
that segment. Stacey's back on the road coming up this week.
Yeah, we got
Heading out east.
Boston. We got Boston, Toronto, and Detroit.
All right, so safe travels, and we'll be back at you soon with another new edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. Special shout out to all our friends at the Chicago Sports Network. Hope you enjoy watching the show there on a regular basis. Until next time.
Drive home safely, Chicago BB.
Goodness, it's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil thought Jimmy G buckets gets buckets. Oh my goodness, give me the hot sauce, Neil thought. Give me the hot sauce. What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo?